Your unique story, our global audience. Global One Media.
Hello, everyone. We're thrilled to enlighten you with Global One Media's exclusive one-on-one interviews with company executives, sharing insights into their unique journey. This is a platform to help investors make informed decisions. I'm your host, Ashley Berry, and today Julien Davy, President and CEO of Tarku Resources, is here with us, an exploration company focused on new discoveries in mining jurisdictions, including Quebec and Arizona. Tarku Resources is listed on the TSX Venture Exchange as TKU, the Frankfurt Exchange as 7TK, and the OTCQB as TRKUF. Julien, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you for hosting me, Ashley. It's a pleasure to be here too.
So, Julien, many exciting developments have emerged with your exploration portfolio. Let's begin with the Apollo project in Quebec, where your exploration program is progressing steadily, really produced promising drill results there. Perhaps you could walk us through that. Give us a little more information on the findings with that.
With really great pleasure, because it's been a while that we're working on that project and that we acquired that project. And now that we are starting to get interesting results and really good discoveries, it's really a pleasure to share that. So as just to make a short reminder on the Apollo project itself, we acquired it on anomalous historical gold results and gold data. And as there are not a lot of outcrops in the area, the government did a subsequent mapping after the historical workings and before we acquired the project, and repositioned the regional shear zone, which is the Sunday Lake shear zone, further to the north. So we understood that with that repositioning, we understood that all the historical companies were working too far to the south. So we started to carry out exploration work along the shear zone with till samplings, and followed then by several geophysical surveys, both airborne and on the ground also. And that was done all to better understand and define the location of the source of the gold itself. So by the end of 2022, we had enough information to start and to start a drill program. That's when we did a 3,048 meter drill program on 8 holes along a 3 kilometer section on the surface, which is a fairly wide section for only 8 holes. And the results that we received last month really lift up our expectations. The Apollo project is a orogenic gold type of deposit, and we have consistently intersect 10 to 20 to even 47 meters along intersection of gold mineralization. And gold is associated with quartz carbonate veins and also pyrites, which is really fine, and some tourmaline also sometimes. Yes, is it still what we call low-grade gold mineralization, as we have results varying from 0.3 grams per ton to up 5 grams per ton, but the amplitude of the intersection allows us to say that we have an orogenic system associate what we call the cyanide-type intrusions, and that carries gold. So now what we need to do is to do more drilling to find the higher grade zones.
Terrific. So I know we're getting very specific here. So you mentioned the orogenic gold model. Maybe you could elaborate on that model and explain its importance for the project. And how does the Apollo project model currently look, especially for our viewers that don't really have an idea of what orogenic gold is, you being the geologist and being able to speak in those layman terms to help them understand what that actually means for them and for you.
With pleasure also. So an orogenic gold deposit is what we call, it's part of a bigger family of deposit that we call the hydrothermal deposits. I don't know if you know, but 75% of all the gold recovered by the human through history belongs to the orogenic gold deposit class. Mm-hmm. So most of the time they are hosted by shear zone, but always they are what we call associated with orogenic belts. These belts, without going into too many details, but these belts are mountain building processes that we are seeing, for example, in the Rocky Mountain. And those mountain building processes occurs along the margin of two different tectonic plates. And when those tectonic plates come together, there are a lot of compression and there are crumbles to each other, those plates. And this is where you found the mountain ranges itself. And that compression is exactly the appropriate environment to remobilize minerals and metals, because there is a lot of heat, a lot of melting. The rocks are melting there. We have a lot of faults in those systems. We have a lot of intrusions. And all those remobilization of the minerals and the metals that we're looking for are carrying closer to the surface, where they are cooling down and where they are deposits. So how can we apply this model to the Apollo project itself? It's by its location. We know that it's located on the northern margin of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. We have the Sunday Lake shear zone, which is one of the former active faults that extends really on hundreds of kilometers from the Ontario area to Quebec, and which also takes its roots really deeply. And that is important because this is where all the mineralization, where we have all the mineralization transportation. So we have also the right geochemical information because because we have those alkaline rocks that we're looking for, and we have the cyanide intrusion. So we have all the ingredients to talk about a orogenic and a hydrothermal system, and more specifically an orogenic gold system. Now that we know that we have gold, we have to do more drilling. So rapidly explain, this is Mineral Deposit 101.
Terrific. And you know what? I think it's really helpful for you to break that down because it really highlights the significance of all of this. Now, you mentioned earlier about the initial results indicating a lower grade, but that doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe you can explain why this may still be economically viable and provide an update on your forecasts for the project.
Correct. Yes. The orogenic gold deposits are typically large tonnage and what we say low grade deposits. There is a lot of example, and we could take one as the Detour Lake mine, which is a few kilometers across the border in Ontario. This is a known producing mine of, I think it's now above 25 million ounces of gold, grading at a grade just lower than 1 gram per ton. So it's a fairly low grade and really large tonnage deposits. So if we take our results, the whole number 5, for example, where we have 0.98 grams per ton over 8 meters, that is similar to what they have at Detour Lake. Okay, if we take our 47 meters grading 0.33 grams per ton, this is not economic yet, but it tells us that we are really close to a large system that needs to have more exploration to find better grades. So for us, this is really the tip of the iceberg now. And in a certain way, we can compare this to this first drill program to a first look at the rock, because we don't have a lot of outcrop there. So it's the first time we are accessing the area. And again, we did only 8 holes on 3 kilometer wide section. So we have a lot to explore.
Wonderful. Now, in addition to Apollo, which we've really talked a lot about, you're overseeing a significant lithium property. That's the MAX Lithium project. Perhaps you can share any updates on the status of that project, as well as outline next steps there.
Yes. So the lithium project, the MAX Lithium project, is a really well located one. We are at 4 kilometers away from the only existing producing lithium mine from spodumene in Canada. So we have 19 square kilometers, if I recall correctly, with the same geological environment. And as surprising as it may seem, there have been no exploration done in the past for lithium. So a lot of discovery potential. So as soon as the snow melts in Abitibi, we'll have a crew of geologists on the ground covering the whole property, doing sampling, doing probably trenching also. And because our intention is to have as quick as possible results for lithium, to understand the real lithium potential of the project, to be able to work on the drilling program. Because we understand that it's a very good complement to our portfolio, and there is a good market condition now for lithium project. So as numerous government, the Canadian government also identify lithium as a critical mineral because it's a key mineral, as you know, in the renewable energy transition. So there is a window now, and we want to react quickly and to come out with good lithium results in that window.
Excellent point. I'm really glad you brought that up around renewable energy because it is so important. And I know you said they'll be, ramping up operations once the snow melts there. Arizona, you don't so much have that issue, the Silver Strike project. What are the most recent developments there, and what lies ahead for that project in the US?
Silver Strike, yes, that's a great silver project, but also copper, a project for copper, gold, lead, zinc, as we are targeting there what we call a CRD model, which stands for carbonate replacement deposit. It's a model that is associated with porphyry systems. There's a lot of porphyry in that area, copper porphyry, base metal, all kind of base metals, porphyry, and like Silver Strike, it's also a project that we own 100% as all the other projects. And in 2022, last year, we completed the first MAG survey, MAG and radiometric survey on the entire property. It finally gives us a broad image of the project. As we know, historically, there has been 32 million ounces of silver that has been produced on only the first 200 meters from surface to 200 meter depth maximum. So, and in 2021, when with our drill program, we demonstrate that the extensions just below 200 meters and on the extensions laterally of the historical grades, there are still interesting high grade results. With that 2022 MAX survey, we show that both at 3 kilometers on the west side and at 4 kilometers also on the south side of that historical area, we have a lot of mineralized zone that has been not explored. We found signature from some historical mines that occurs also on those extensions and that has never been tested. So therefore, we have a really good, we think we have a really good potential to demonstrate the regional footprint of that mineral system, because actually nobody looked for its regional potential, and we believe that the CRD is really a regional footprint. So we have a lot of room to play. So the next step will be ground working on those new area found and to prepare the next drill program, actually.
Major developments. Lastly, and very quickly, how do these developments impact your shareholders?
As an exploration company, we believe that we need to be really to adapt to any kind of situation, and the markets are conditioned now are not easy. We need to quickly react and quickly adapt. That's why we opt to go with a third project on the lithium side, and that allows us to have an interesting portfolio of different projects that are well located, easy accessible. They are all 100% owned by Tarku, and those projects, depending on the market condition, could bring a lot of value to our shareholder. It's just a question of time. There are many major companies around us, both in Quebec and Arizona, and those might constitute a really interesting business opportunity for us. So at a target, at a price we are standing yet, our share price we have now, we see a lot of room for value creation. And therefore, we see a really interesting 2023.
Terrific. It sounds like so many exciting developments and things have been happening with Tarku Resources here just in a few short months. Really excited for what's next. Julien Davy, President and CEO of Tarku Resources. As always, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your exciting updates. We look forward to sharing more with our audience from you.
Thank you very much for hosting me. Have a nice day, Ashley.